Hmm.
Hi, F1 family. We are from IFF1, myself Shabir. I have Avi with me, Mihir, and Ujjan. So, we are back after a long time doing our podcast for Formula One, and we are glad to do it back again. Thanks for all your support over the time. And finally, for you, we are back. So, today we are going to discuss about the Dutch GP, which is recently concluded. It was quite an interesting race. Okay, very good start and quite eventful turnouts towards the end, towards the middle, and great starts also. So we'll get on starting with the podcast. Avi, what do you think about the start? Great start by McLaren.
Yeah, I think a good start by Oscar, but Lando again lost out to Max, just like last year. And I'm sure this year he was prepared for Max to do that, but again he could not defend. And Max being Max, I think he was like super aggressive. Also, he started on soft tires compared to the McLarens, so he had a better launch, obviously. So, but yeah, overall, I felt Max had a better start compared to Norris. Hmm.
Yes, and that turn two and turn three move by Max was phenomena. It was very good. Oh, John, you want to
Especially he
take us
started
through?
slipping on that whatever
Yeah,
dust
yeah,
था
that
या क्या
was
था and then
correct.
कंट्रोल जो किया उसने वहां पे.
Yeah, that was fantastic. बहुत सही कंट्रोल किया था उसने.
Hmm.
Oh, John, you want to say something about that overtake?
I genuinely do not understand, even though Max was on softs, how he lost control of the car going out of turn two, and then somehow managed to control his car and stay ahead of Norris. Norris didn't just swoop in and get the move completed again, but still, great bravery shown by Max over there. And otherwise, the start was amazing. Like looking back at the back of the grid, someone like a Bortoleto losing 5 places almost immediately. So it was a very interesting start, whichever part of the grid you look at.
Correct. Action all over the start, all over the grid. Like Albon moved up 5 places from 15 to 10th. And even Charles Leclerc made a good point. Mir, you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I think he made a jump on Russell in the initial laps, and he did again after. We'll talk about that in the I think later part of the podcast. But yeah, he overtook Russell twice in the race and still ended up in the wall. But yeah, good start from Ferraris, but not the result we wanted.
Correct. Not good results from Ferrari. Actually, we have been used to that, quite a while now. But we'll come back to that. But, uh, with this win, Piastri has almost a 34-point lead over Norris. Correct. And had that Norris engine not failed, I think this race could have been a good comeback for Norris. The lead would have been only 16, I think, had he not stopped. And 34 points, a big difference. What do you say, guys? Aviral, to you.
Yeah, I think like in pre-race discussion, they were also discussing na, ki now just 10, 11 some races are left, and each and every point is going to matter in the championship fight. So, matlab either the gap could have come down to 2 points or grown up to 16 points. But I don't think they were ever counting कि वो gap 34 points का हो जाएगा. And that's almost like more than one race win. So, even if Oscar DNFs and Lando wins, Oscar will still have a lead. So, मतलब वो चैंपियनशिप फाइट में वो मेंटली काफी प्रेशर बना देता है, मतलब जब इतना गैप एकदम से इंक्रीज हो जाता है. एंड द चैलेंज विच आई वाज फीलिंग इज कि आगे चल के लैंडो रिस्क ज्यादा लेने लग जाएगा. Because now he has to finish ahead of Oscar to at least cut down this lead. So वो lead cut करने के चक्कर में he might start taking unnecessary risks. uh, it could lead to some crashes. I hope it does not, but वो एक pressure build up होने लग जाता है as your gap grows up. So I think ये
Eventually,
थोड़ा सा.
eventually, main point क्या है कि the clean races which McLaren have been able to do, being
Hmm.
the top contender of the championship, drivers' championship. Both Oscar and McLaren are doing very well, right? Oscar and Norris, sorry, McLaren is obviously doing well. So the way Norris and Piastri have been conducting themselves on track. Okay, so people were assuming कि वो Mercedes वाला firecrackers मिलेगा when uh, Rosberg and Hamilton were dueling and they were crashing in some races they did. But overall वैसा कुछ भी नहीं मिल रहा except for one crash in Canada this year. ऐसा कुछ मिला नहीं है. Mihir, your take on that?
या एग्जैक्टली, मैं कनाडा ही पॉइंट आउट करने वाला था कि जैसे अभी भाई से कि नॉरिस माइट टेक अननेसेसरी रिस्क एज वी सॉ इन कनाडा, तो वो चीज हो सकता है आगे जाके ज्यादा हो, बिकॉज नाउ ही हैज टू कट डाउन द लीड, राइट? अभी ही इज ऑन अ बैक फुट. डीएनएफ इन दिस काइंड ऑफ चैंपियनशिप फाइट इज ऑब्वियसली नॉट व्हाट यू वांट, राइट? मतलब ये एकदम ही कट थ्रोट चैंपियनशिप फाइट है बिटवीन द टू, and obviously it can go down to the last race. It will, I think, go down to the last race. So yeah, unnecessary risk लेना पड़ेगा, लैंडो को वो लेगा भी, but again it has to be calculated, and it should not lead to double DNS. That's
Correct.
all we can
Risk,
say.
risk तो ठीक है. Risk तो he means he has to raise out of his skin right now. That is correct. उसको risk लेना पड़ेगा and he has to be quite aggressive for that. That is also true. ठीक है. But important point ये है कि डबल DNF जैसे आपने बोला वैसा होना नहीं चाहिए. अगर वैसा होता है तो who will benefit out of it? Ujan, what do you think?
At this point of time, the gap that is there between Oscar and Lando, and uske baad Max, I don't think a double DNF really it obviously doesn't benefit McLaren, but I don't think it particularly does anything good for Red Bull as well. Because even if you are looking towards the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull is nowhere close. Uh, Ferrari is nowhere close. बाकी तो छोड़ ही देते हैं. Mercedes is not close. So it's like I think McLaren for themselves now they have built quite a comfortable zone for themselves. But एक बार like if it happens a few more times because we have a fair amount of races to go. As per the table I can see over here, there are 9 races left. So if they take these risks थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही,
Hmm.
then maybe some team, some driver can maybe come up sniffing for a chance.
Correct. I agree. जैसा आपने बोला, McLaren may not be affected because their lead is quite comfortable than in the constructor championship. वो बात आपकी सही है. That is very true. But the thing is, in the drivers championship, everybody has a chance. If there are multiple DNFs and even if there are crashes, even if they're not DNF, even if there are crashes and points are being stolen from the drivers, they any driver can have a good amount of chance. I mean, mathematically it is possible. Forget theoretically or practically. Mathematically it is possible. Is what I'm trying to say. Aviral, you being the McLaren fan, what do you think about this scenario?
See, I was calculating. I don't think mathematically भी मतलब you will need 3-4 DNFs out of 9 races for that thing to become practical for Max या फिर उसके पीछे वाला कोई भी ड्राइवर. अब 3-4 DNF हो गए तो वो तो एक अलग ही मिरेकल बोलूंगा मैं. बट मतलब इतना तो नहीं होता है. बट वो अगर डबल DNF हुआ तो बिटवीन ऑस्कर एंड लैंडो इट एक्चुअली बेनिफिट्स ऑस्कर. Because,
Yes.
matlab, if you see right now, the gap is 34 with 9 races remaining. तब
Hmm,
लैंडो को गैप कट करना है. बट
correct.
अगर अगली रेस में दोनों DNF करते हैं तब भी गैप 34 ही रहेगा. बट लैंडो के पास अब 8 रेसेस बचेंगी वो गैप कट करने के लिए.
Hmm,
तो every race that Lando is not able to cut the gap, it's his loss.
correct. That is true. That is true. And he has to
हाँ,
keep that point in mind as well. Okay. But
exactly.
as much as we want to celebrate or feel sad about Lando missing out or Oscar coming out of on top, there are a couple of other points. I would say the qualifying of Isaac Hadjar in the Racing Bulls and his finish in the podium, his first ever podium in Formula One. Great driving by the guy across the season. He has been very consistent. Okay, I think he's one of the best rookies, and I think he's the probably the best rookie this season so far. Unless Kini, who has a very good car under him, pulls something out of the hat, I think Hajar is the best rookie right now. And if Red Bull goes shopping again for the chicken seat next to Max Verstappen, I think Hajar should be in there. Ojan, you want to shed some light on that?
I mean, first of all, tackling one thing at a time. If we are talking about who's the best rookie this season, I think hands down, based on car performance, it has to be Hadjar because let's say Kimi Antonelli also within a shout, but with the third, maybe even second fastest car on the grid, if he is not getting more than one podium that he has, that too in a race full of attrition, I think that is something worth noting that he consistently is not performing up to the level of the car. He has one third of the points of his teammate right now, and a teammate who, while being an experienced driver, is not the epitome of experience out there. On the other hand, if we talk about Isaac going to Red Bull, I think it will be a demotion for him. It will be like तुमको मैनेजर की नौकरी दी जाती है लेकिन तुम्हारे पैसे कट रहे हैं तो uh, like that is the point because Red Bull, I would say Red Bull is slow, but Red Bull is fast for Max.
Correct.
तुम तुम ट्रक वाले को बोल नहीं सकते कि तुम जाके ओला चलाओ. That is the point.
I I
So
like the example though, but about that Kimi point, what you say that he has third or fourth best or second best car on the grid right now, and still he's not able to deliver. But let's not forget he has that sprint win, Miami sprint win under his belt, and the pole also. So he has the potential. Okay, but I think the weight or the pressure for him driving to Mercedes and replacing Hamilton is getting over him, is what I feel. He's just 18. I mean, that's not something which is an excuse or something like that. But I personally feel that I may be wrong. Uh, but he has had share amount of bad luck also in quite a few races. Okay. And he's a good good fighter also. Okay. And he made a mistake today. So first we'll talk about Kimi and then about the mistake today. Mir, your idea on that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Kimi, it has been a roller coaster ride for him. अगर आप देखें तो start from the season he was not at par with Russell. Obviously, he is very young, but he has the speed definitely. Personally, as a biased Leclerc fan, I am not a very big fan of him after the Grand Prix, obviously. But yes, definitely. Uh, Except from him talking about rookies, I think Hajar has that rookie of the year award in bag with him this year. Unless they decide to give it to Alonso, obviously. But except for that, I think Hajar has been exceptional. Considering the Dutch Grand Prix, he did everything well, like the perfect lap in qualifying, which put him in P4 for the start of the race and
Right.
controlling the pace throughout the race.
Right.
So yeah, Hajar
I
has
mean,
been exceptional.
I mean,
All the
throughout the race, he did not try anything fancy, He just kept it very simple. He just drove his race in a very clean manner, following Max most of the time, you know, defended his position in a very clean manner. He did not push also, he did not drive too safely also. He was on and on there. He was matching the time, but not doing something, extra or, in a very simple term, I can say not being too much greedy. Okay. Understanding the potential of his car, limitation of his car, he did well. Okay. But,
also, I
when
think we
we,
need to add that we had three safety car restarts, right?
hmm,
And always he had George Russell in the Mercedes
correct,
behind him. So,
right,
controlling, like defending his position every time at the restart was very crucial, and he did it
correct,
like all the
right,
three times. So
right.
that was. very good from him.
Correct. But there are a couple of other rookies also that we are talking about. Okay, it's not just Kimi and Isaac who are there. We have Bortoleto and then we have Behrman as well. Okay. Now, when I speak about Bortoleto, he has been consistently pushing Hulkenberg, who's much more experienced than him. Okay. Quite a well experienced across seasons, season campaigner. Okay. And he has been pushing him right to the nail, to the edge. Okay. For me, given the car that he is in, I think he is also driving very well, qualifying very well. Couple of Q3 performances, appearances in the qualifying. Oli Behrman, if you talk about him, okay, we all know how Haas was, okay, quite a few seasons ago. And now Haas is improving. Yes, I agree. But um, Behrman is also pushing quite a bit. Today he finished almost P6, if I'm not mistaken, right? Uh, Thanks to the Kimi Antonelli penalty that he had of 15 seconds, okay, which dropped him to 14. Behrman drove quite well. Ojan, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, personally, as a guy who I won't say fan, but roots for Lance Stroll, uh, this race was like it was very close at the end. But obviously,
Hmm.
like with Lance, jitna kare utna kafi hai for me at this point. And seeing Behrman finish up there was amazing. Like he did very well. Took no time in overtaking Gasly, which was probably the reason that he could keep his position at the end.
Correct.
And I think this race actually took him from the bottom of the point table in terms of non-point scorer in terms of point scorers. Otherwise, the call up into a 2-1 to hai niche.
Correct.
But it's now Yuki Tsunoda at the bottom. Surprise. So,
It
like
started very well.
Behrman is showing promise. The Haas is used to be horrible. Now it's kind of bearable. So I think Behrman is someone to keep in mind for the rest of the season as well.
Correct. Especially considering that Behrman started from the pit lane, him moving to P6. I honestly think he should have been the driver of the day, but Hajar truly deserves it. Yes, I would really go for him. What about somebody like Bortoleto? Avi, what do you think about him?
See,
Hmm.
I think Bortoleto started the season on a very tough note. I think initial few races, mein, he had some crashes. He was spinning as well, and most time people were questioning him कि maybe he's not able to adjust to F1. But I think matlab, with slowly with all the races, I mean, it can be seen that he's actually getting much better. He's always mostly out qualifying his teammate, and matlab, he's able to control the pace. He's able to get a clean race, matlab, unlike today, obviously. But I think matlab, he also has that mindset that like he can manage his race well. Matlab, he's not, trying to overdrive something, trying to get some extra results. He knows what his car is capable of, and he tries to achieve that. I don't think he's trying to do anything rash. He's able to comfortably, manage his pace, everything. So, matlab, these are the things that probably, the teams will look in the rookies that, if you're supposed to finish fifth, are you able to get to fifth? If you're able to supposed to finish 10th, you are not trying extra hard to finish eighth and crashing in that process.
What's more interesting about Bortoleto is I want to see how the race comes up in Brazil. Okay, he'll be the home favorite this time around. Okay, so it will be hands down party time in Brazil at this point of time. Let's hope for the best. So now coming back to the race again, what I want to discuss is the top 10 points finishers. Quite interesting finishers that this race we have after the blowout of engine for Norris, after the penalty of Kimi Antonelli, on which we'll come in detail after some time. But let's discuss the points finishers. We have two Haas finishing in the points. We have two Aston Martin finishing in the points. Okay. two Red Bulls. Sonoda also finished in the points, I think, 10th position, if I'm not mistaken. The closest to miss out was Colapinto. He had a very good race, I think. Quite a few duels he had with Ocon and quite a few other guys who had a nice race, but missed out on the points. Yes. The obvious miss out was of both Ferraris and Lando Norris. So first, let's talk about the Aston Martin. Okay, we'll start with Jan on Aston Martin. By the way, just like how Hamilton and Leclerc crashed and Norris's engine blew out, our Jan's camera also blew out. So he'll not be visible from now on. Yeah, you done.
Thank
Over
you.
to you.
Thank you for the warning, bhai. So, yeah, I mean, देखो, as a kid who grew up to James Bond films, as a kid who grew up to supporting the underdog all the time when you're a neutral, I am an Aston Martin fan. Aston Martin क्या? I am a Lance Stroll fan, if I may say so myself.
That's quite unique in itself.
क्या बोल सकते हैं? I mean, I
बट सबकी
started
अपनी
watching
अपनी
in
पसंद है यार, व्हाई नॉट, सबकी अपनी।
I
आई एम
started
श्योर
watching in
कोई ना
2020.
कोई,
Peak
आई एम श्योर
Stroll.
कोई ना कोई लतीफी का भी फैन होगा, कोई ना कोई मैस्पिन का भी फैन होगा। सो तुम लोग लास्ट रोल के फैन हो, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल
यार।
बिल्कुल. So I think it was a like brilliant race for two people in general. One is the Aston Martin strategist,
Mm-hmm.
and the second is Fernando Alonso.
Okay.
Fernando Alonso was not supported by strategy, yet he finished where he finished.
Mm-hmm.
And strategy, I'm not going to say that Lance would not have finished in the points, but the way he did it was because of the strategy purely. Like they
I
had to know that the rain would not be that strong to pit him that early,
mm,
and knowing that the Haas would be behind him, basically safeguarding him for the entire race from anyone from behind,
mm.
was a brilliant call on the strategy team. Like so early in the race, first quarter of the race, knowing how the entire race would play out is like brilliant insight. So I think that worked out perfectly for them.
Right, but quite a few races now, Aston Martin are qualifying very nice, making quite a regular Q3 appearances. Is it something which has changed in the drivers, the car? If I say about the car, then I'm sure we can pitch in about the new effect also on the car, right? Mihir, you want to add something on that?
हाँ या आई थिंक अगर न्यू इफेक्ट की बात करें तो मुझे लगता है कि इस साल से ज्यादा नेक्स्ट ईयर हमें ऑब्वियसली देखने मिलेगा, बिकॉज वो वो बंदा ही ऐसा है कि he must have gotten to Aston Martin factory and started working on 2026 with
So,
new
so
regulations coming in.
basically, so basically, you are saying that either Alonso or Stroll will be a driver champion next season.
यस यस
Are you voting
डेफिनेटली,
for it?
मतलब बिल्कुल बैट तो कर सकते हैं भाई, बिल्कुल अगर न्यू है
मैंने
तो
तो बोला
बैट
ही था
कर सकते
शबीर भाई.
Of course, they are the dark horses with, Honda's engine. We know how it is working with Red Bull, although they had a dark comeback with McLaren, but with Honda, they have shown really well. Okay. In addition to that, New is also there. He definitely is a masterclass with now active aero coming to the picture next year. Anything can happen, that is true. But about this season, you know, what is it that is triggering their comeback? Okay, that is the main point of answer over here. Newey started to work on the car only after April and May, right? If I'm not mistaken. And he openly said that his focus is 2026, not 25. Okay, so if it is not that, what can it be? Okay, between you, Mihir, you and Avi, if you want to share some light.
भैया इनसाइडर सीक्रेट्स तो एस्टन मार्टिन वाले ही बता पाएंगे कि क्या बदला है उन्होंने, लेकिन मे बी मे बी दे आर ब्रिंगिंग सम स्मॉल स्मॉल अपग्रेड्स जो उनके ऑलरेडी प्लान्ड होंगे पाइपलाइन में, और वो स्मॉल अपग्रेड्स कुछ डिफरेंस कर रहे हैं इसमें।
Mm-hmm.
जान भाई कुछ बोल रहा है।
Ha, Udan, you want to pitch in something over here? The Aston
I
Martin fan.
think I consider, if we are to consider the like quoted truth that अपने न्यूई भाई अगले साल से ही होंगे, if Newey is not the cause of this, then I think the cause is, and hear me out, Visa Cash App RB, and the reason is Imagine being a factory team for one of the most prestigious car companies in the world and having the disgrace of falling behind the sister team of a energy drink.
Mm-hmm.
There might be something psychological about this. As a psychology student, that's all I'm going to say.
So basically, you're trying to say it is uh, the revenge or the vengeance or a shame kind of feeling that is uh,
Shame would be the right word.
psych psychologically pushing them. That is what you're saying. Mihir, shame would be the right word, is what Jan's saying about the resurgence of Aston Martin this season. You want to add something?
Yes, I think Ujan भाई ने बहुत he put the perfect words into that statement. But yes, definitely डच ग्रैंड प्री के वीकेंड से अगर हम स्टार्टिंग से बात करें तो इन प्रैक्टिस सेशन ऑन फ्राइडे FP1 FP2 Stroll and Alonso both were in top three respectively, right? So definitely after the summer break we have seen the improvement. uh, Going forward they finished double points in the race, and अभी coming races में we'll able to see कि like was this just one off or actually they have made some progress, right? And yes, Alonso is as hungry as he has ever been in his career. आज भी उसके रेडियो मैसेजेस से वो बिल्कुल साफ हो जाता है कि ही इज हंग्री. वो एक भी रेस नहीं छोड़ना चाहता. ही वांट्स टू मेक द मैक्सिमम आउट ऑफ द कार ही हैज, राइट? So yeah, definitely
But
we
then
will
next
see.
year, but the next year is his last year as a contractual driver with Aston Martin. Okay. If he does not get the car next year, I think that will be end a sunset on Alonso's career, is what I feel. But I hope not. He still goes on and on. Uh, he's a champion of a driver by himself. Okay, but I still don't agree with yours and Utran's point of view that shame would be the right word. I think uh, the resurgence is fueled by a passionate team, okay, who's now backed by a good technical director and always is hungry driver by Alonso and a passionate owner like a Stroll, okay, who is willing to put everything online. All three of them, even the driver, the mechanics, everybody are willing to put everything on the line and they are pushing it. They're doing it. But I think uh, the onboarding of Newey has had a positive effect on the team. Okay, technically or non-technically or just mentally, it has it, and I think that's the right word. What I would say. Let's jump to Haas. Okay, um, Haas also had a double point finish this race in that GP, but the standout was Behrman, who started from pit lane and has now finished P6 after the Kimi Antonelli penalty. Avi, you want to start something over there with the Behrman starting from pit lane?
यार मैंने ज्यादा ना उसके नहीं नोट करा कुछ उसका, बेरमन का। मतलब कैसे से हाईलाइट नहीं था उसका कि वो बहुत बहुत सारे ओवरटेक्स करे उसने कैसे। somehow he ended up sixth, I don't know। हाँ
बस
मतलब
ऐसी गाड़ी चलाते चलाते पहुंच गया कहीं तो।
समझ गया, मतलब बस ऐसा नहीं था कि मतलब बैक टू बैक ओवरटेक्स कर रहा है, या मतलब उसने ना कुछ ऐसे 10-12 ओवरटेक्स कर दिया हो, बिकॉज पिट लेन टू सिक्स्थ में वी हैव कवर्ड 14 कार्स। तो ऐसा मतलब देखने का तो नहीं आया कि उसने 8-10 ओवरटेक्स कर लिए, तो
करेक्ट
कहाँ
करेक्ट।
से कैसे निकल गया आगे।
I have not noted much, but what I noted was that after starting from the pit lane, I think he first stopped around the lap 53, 54 when uh, first the second safety car came into the picture. That was after the Charles Leclerc crash. Okay, and he put on the mediums there. From there on, I think the couple of critical overtakes which he did was that of Alonso and Gasly. Okay. And then his top six finish was fueled by Kimi Antonelli's penalty. Okay. Mihir, you want to add something on this?
आई थिंक जैसे अभी भाई ने बोला कि उसका परफॉर्मेंस हाईलाइट नहीं हुआ, प्रोबेबली ही वाज नॉट कवर्ड इन द टेलीकास्ट or something like that, but yes, definitely Pitlane to P6 is commendable in a heart.
But I
And
think
Haas,
अगर if he did a one stop, then it makes sense. मतलब because काफी लोगों ने two stop किया था. तो अगर बेयरमैन ने वन स्टॉप किया है तो देन ऑब्वियसली आप कवर अप कर लेते हो.
yes,
Yeah,
definitely. I think at
that
one
is what
point
I remember
the McLaren
commentators
were
saying.
also. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry,
Sorry.
Mir, you were saying something. I interrupted.
हाँ, मैं वही बोल रहा था, जैसे अभी भाई ने पॉइंट आउट किया कि सिंगल पिट स्टॉप, so at one point of time I think McLaren were also thinking about one stop for Norris. So definitely वो एक factor हो सकता है for their.
The finish by Albon, top five Albon finish. He started from 15th, finished fifth. Williams on the resurgence, what do you think? They have been growing from past couple of years, especially after James Vowles came into the picture as a team principal. They have been slowly but steadily growing, and sometimes they produce a result which is mind-blowing, and sometimes they are nowhere to be seen. I don't know what is there wrong with them, but Ujjan, can you share some light on that?
So the thing is, I got interested in F1 around 2013, but started properly watching since 2020. 2020 May, Williams was the team that is expected to score 0 points in a season.
Mm-hmm.
Coming back to this season, Williams is probably looking to finish, I think, top five. Williams is top five right now.
Yeah, you can, we can.
Yeah, Williams is top five. The only challenge maybe is like Aston Martin and Cash App if they manage to catch up, that is. But Albon, I think Albon's आज का race went very unnoticed because so many things happen, which in the F1 conundrum is slightly more important to look at. That Albon का thing was missed out. It has become now कि अब तो expected है, हाँ Albon है तो कर तो लेगा. So it has become something like that. He has
Right.
become so dependable that he's become unnoticeable. वो घर के बड़े बेटे जैसे बन चुके हैं.
You mean like घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर ऐसा?
हाँ हाँ, कि कुछ भी करो लाइक अच्छा तो करना ही है.
But I agree with your one point that quite a few performances went unnoticed, especially that of Albon or Behrman, like you highlighted, uh, and Alonso's P9 finish. But he started in top 10 also. Okay. Uh, what's because there are some other parts of the race which the broadcasters had to highlight, specifically Lewis Hamilton's crash and Charles Leclerc crash. Being a Ferrari fan, Mihir, your point of view on that. Let's start from you.
अरे मत पूछो भाई, मत पूछो, मैं क्या ही बोलूंगा. मतलब ऐसा
सच
दुख
बताना
भरी
कितनी गाली दी
दास्तान है
तूने किमी
भाई.
एंटिनोली को जब लेक्लर का क्रैश हुआ?
अरे बहुत भर भर के गालियां दी मैंने. एक टाइम तो लेक्चर की क्रैश के बाद मैंने फोन बंद कर दिया था कि आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू वॉच दिस रेस एनी मोर, मेरे से देखा ही नहीं जाएगा. बट फिर आई रीस्टार्टेड एंड आई वॉच द रेस टिल एंड. बट या आई मीन आई डोंट नो. वो एक हर बार मैं वो किसी से भी फरारी के लिए बात करता है ना, तो वो मुझे मीम वही याद आता है. जैसे एक वो टॉगल बटन है, जो स्ट्रेटेजी है, ड्राइवर है, ठीक है, परफेक्ट स्ट्रेटेजी, परफेक्ट ड्राइवर एंड लक. तो वो तीनों एक साथ कभी काम ही नहीं कर सकते फरारी के लिए. somehow either one or more than one thing is missing. ठीक है, मतलब या तो ड्राइवर एरर होती है या तो अनलकी. आज तो हमें दोनों देखने मिला. मतलब अगर इफ यू टॉक अबाउट लुइस रेस, तो वी कैन कंसिडर ड्राइवर एरर विच वी नॉर्मली नॉट सी फ्रॉम लुइस. राइट, ऐसे कंडीशंस में वी हैव नेवर सीन. आई लाइक पर्सनली आई डोंट थिंक, मुझे याद भी नहीं आ रहा कि लास्ट टाइम ऐसा बिना किसी फाइट के क्रैश उसने कब किया. मिस्टेक, मतलब ऐसी मिस्टेक कब की कि बिना किसी से फाइट हो रही है या ही इज गोइंग विल टू विल समवन विद समवन.
Hmm.
तो उसके अलावा जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ एन एरर उसका क्रैश कब हुआ लास्ट, आई डोंट थिंक आई कैन रिमेम्बर. Right, so we normally don't see such mistakes from Lewis, but unfortunately it happened today. And yeah, double DNF is just a very big blow, even in constructors standing. Like Mercedes is just behind. I think after Dutch Grand Prix they will be ahead. of Ferrari in P2. Right? So yeah, uh, for this season, I don't have any more expectations. Like if we can secure P2, that will be the best Ferrari can do this season.
But
So
you talked about Lewis Hamilton crash, correct? आपने बोला Lewis Hamilton does not crash so often or for this kind of reason. Okay. Um, yes, I agree. The car has not been suited to him this entire season. Okay. But then he has not been part of the development of this year car also. Okay, so he does not know, or the liking of his choice of the drivability of the car may not be as per his ability, not ability, of his liking. Okay, ability to uski pata, he is has 7 world champions, so definitely he's a very able driver. Okay, but he's not able to adjust, or he's not able to fit into that um, car mechanics itself, which he likes to have. Okay. And I see a primary reason for that is because he's not been involved in this project right from the word go. Okay. We might be able to see that next year in 2026 when there are a lot of rules changes and this thing happening. Okay. As a tifosi, it's very disheartening, like you said, Ferrari losing out. बहुत दर्द होता है भाई. ठीक है.
yes,
But there is always a hope right at the end of the tunnel. Okay. We'll hope for the best. Okay. Maybe Avi and Ujjan from the outside box, who are not a tifosi by their own perspectives, can shed some light on this. Ujjan, first to you.
I mean, first of all, I'd like to start off by saying कि if any loved one of Mir Bhai is watching today, please stay with him पूरे हफ्ते थोड़ा बात बात कर लेना प्यार से बात कर लेना उनसे उनको जरूरत है and like looking at today's two incidents I think at this point I don't know why but like Hamilton is driving like 2025 MS Dhoni like he should have like as if he should have retired 2 years ago. We still know that he has it in him, but I don't know. Like we expected performances like this from maybe Alonso, but who's 43 at this point, but not from Hamilton. Now looking at Charles' ka crash again, it was obviously Antonelli's fault, but I think the penalty that he received was harsh on the part of Leclerc. That is, he should have received 20 seconds, is in my opinion. जो crash करवाया I mean, it was very avoidable. I think other than Lando Norris, every single DNF in this race was very avoidable.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree. But then let's not forget, other than that 10-second penalty, the other thing that the stewards might have gone for is the drive-through penalty. Okay. Or even harsher than that is the stop go penalty. I think 10-second penalty was fair enough. Uh, yes, it did and Charles's race. It's very sad, but again, uh, avoidable. Yes, 100%. But it's a learning for Kimi internally. Okay, he will learn a lot from this thing because it not only spoiled Charles's race, it spoiled his race also. He had a good chance of fighting for the podium with P4 or P3. Very good chance he might have had. So he has lost it. Avi, you want to share something like that on what Kimi lost?
मुझे तो लगता है अब हवन करवा के ही कुछ चेंज आएगा, ऐसे नहीं होने वाला कुछ भी।
किसके
स्ट्रेटेजी
लिए?
और एरो से नहीं होगा।
फरारी के लिए?
हवन करवाओ। हाँ। हाँ, कभी कोई क्रैश हो जा रहा है उसमें, कभी कुछ हो जा रहा है।
अच्छी खासी रेस चल रही है तो कोई और आके ठोक देता है।
हाँ, अच्छी रेस चल रही है, कोई यार आगे ठोक देगा। और लग उसके 10-15 लाख के बाद वहीं पे बैठा था, रेस ट्रैक साइड पे ही बैठा था।
हाँ, वो तो फोन पे कुछ तो भी सुन रहा था।
हाँ, वो वहीं पे बैठा था मस्त, मेरे को वापस गैराज ही नहीं जाना है। मैं यहीं बैठा हूँ।
बट आपको लग रहा है कि ये 10 साल पहले वाला मैकलैरेन है जो 2015 में मैकलैरेन की हालत थी, समथिंग लाइक दैट, कि वो और भी खराब दौर था, फरारी तो फिर भी ठीक कर रही है, चलो P2 के आसपास है चैंपियनशिप के।
फरारी अगर आप पोजीशन वाइज देखो, देवर इन द टॉप 5-6 पोजीशन आज की रेस में। मैक्लारेन तो उस टाइम बस मतलब कितना ही स्ट्रगल कर रहा था, मतलब वो तो टॉप 10 में ही नहीं आ पा रहे थे।
हम्म
तो आई डोंट थिंक
Points
फरारी का
don't everything.
परफॉर्मेंस हैज बीन द इशू। मतलब कुछ टाइम पहले तक था जब वो Q3 में आने को स्ट्रगल करते थे।
हम्म
इवन इस रेस में भी बात तो ये हो रही थी कि शायद स्ट्रगल करेंगे, बट आ गए। और
करेक्ट।
रेस के अंदर भी देवर इन द टॉप 5-7, सो आई वुड नॉट से कि दे आर दैट फार बिहाइंड। बट समहाउ कभी स्ट्रैटेजी हो जाती है, कभी ड्राइवर हो जाता है, कभी कोई दूसरा आके ठोक देता है। मतलब उनका
मतलब
ना टाइम सही नहीं चल
अगर
रहा है।
अगर इसका सम अप करना है तो जो मिहिर भाई ने बोला, ऑल द चेक बॉक्सेस जो है, कोई ना कहीं एक चेक बॉक्स फेल हो जाता है
हाँ
जिसकी वजह से उनकी नीयत डूब
हाँ,
जाती है बीच रास्ते में। करेक्ट। चाहे वो
करेक्टली।
स्ट्रेटेजी हो, चाहे वो ड्राइवर हो, या फिर लक फैक्टर हो, या कुछ और हो
हम्म।
जाए, है ना। जैसे अभी
I think
आज आज हैमिल्टन के क्रैश से पहले, जस्ट एक या दो लैप पहले, ही वाज ऑन द रेडियो सेइंग दैट वी हैव टू ट्राई फॉर द undercut because it is difficult to drive and overtake. एंड इमीडिएटली नेक्स्ट लैप लक ने स्टॉप किया, थोड़ी सी हल्की फुल्की बारिश हुई एंड हैमिल्टन क्रैश्ड. So I think it is, I don't know, it's a luck factor or something like that. I don't know. But Ojan, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
आई थिंक जैसे आप लोग बोल रहे हो ना कि लाइक देयर इज अ चेक बॉक्स, हर रेस में कुछ ना कुछ गलत हो ही जाता है फरारी के लिए। एट दिस पॉइंट दे नीड समथिंग लाइक 2024 या 2023, आई डोंट रिमेम्बर एग्जैक्टली। 2024 2023 ऑस्ट्रियन ग्रां प्री फॉर हास जो था, बोथ ड्राइवर्स पिट लेन स्टार्ट, बोथ ड्राइवर्स डीएनएफ, एक रेस में हो जाए, एक बार में खत्म कर दो, उसके बाद सारा बैड लक एक बार में निकल जाए, तो देन आई थिंक द सीजन कैन गो ऑन वेल इनफ। लाइक ये कुछ तो श्राप चल रहा है उनके अगेंस्ट। लाइक आई वांट टू नो कौन से टीम ने फेरारी के ऊपर काला जादू किया है।
वो भी
बट
2008 से,
वही वही वही,
मतलब
मतलब द सीजन
2017
आई स्टार्टेड
2018 में
वाचिंग।
नजदीक भी आए थे, ठीक है, 2010 2012 में भी आए थे नजदीक, ठीक है, बट चलो 2017 2018 बहुत ज्यादा नजदीक है अभी, तो हम वही पकड़ के चलते हैं. बट दे आर, लेट्स बी ऑनेस्ट, दे आर द बेस्ट टीम इन टर्म्स ऑफ the race wins overall in all the seasons in the F1. Okay, so they are the oldest team. Okay, अगर आप 10 10 12 साल जितना पकड़ लो, फरारी इज नॉट विनिंग, स्टिल उनकी जो कंस्ट्रक्टर्स के चैंपियनशिप्स हैं ओवर द इयर्स, या मोस्ट नंबर ऑफ रेस विंस हैं, या पोल्स हैं, नो बडी इज कमिंग टू नियर बाई इट ऑल्सो. ठीक है.
आ रहा है मैक्लारेन आ रहा है।
नहीं, बहुत दूर है भाई, आप स्टेटिस्टिकली उठा के देख लो, बहुत दूर है.
नहीं, स्टैटिस्टिकली मतलब मैं वैसे नहीं काउंटर कर रहा। स्टैटिस्टिकली जो टोटल नंबर ऑफ विन्स है ना, वो मैंने ग्रुप में डाले थे एक दिन।
हाँ,
फरारी के 240 थे और मैक्लारेन 200 रीच करी थी। आई थिंक
40,
आज के बाद मैक्लारेन,
अभी
हाँ,
भी
टू हंड्रेड
40
विन्स।
दूर है, मतलब 2 सीजन हो गए भाई.
39 39।
फिर भी 2 सीजन के आसपास हो गए ना, चलो 1.5 सीजन पकड़ लो.
हाँ,
तो आप बोल रहे हो कि 1.5 सीजन में फरारी एक भी नहीं जीतेगा, चलो ये सीजन छोड़ दो,
अरे मतलब मैं तो बोल
लेट्स
रहा
अगले
हूँ
से गिव
सीजन में
इट
पास
फाइव
पकड़ते
रहेगा
हैं अपन.
सीजन्स।
मैक्लारेन।
मतलब इतना
हाँ,
ओवर
मतलब डेढ़
कॉन्फिडेंस.
सीजन
और जिस तरह से नॉरिस
अपनी।
का इंजन ब्लोआउट हुआ है आज की रेस में, आपको अभी भी लगता है कि वो होगा? मतलब मेरा तो दिल टूट गया बंदे के ऊपर. हाँ, मानता हूं कि मोंजा के लिए नया इंजन चाहिए उसको, पर ऐसे ब्लोआउट ही करा दे पूरा का पूरा.
और क्या। मैं
अच्छा.
तो बड़ा खुश हो गया कि ऑस्कर की लीड बढ़ गई। ऑस्कर आराम से थोड़ा सा
मतलब
जीतेगा।
अब आपकी नजर में नॉरिस की वैल्यू नहीं है, अभी ऑस्कर की वैल्यू है.
मैं तो शुरू से ही ऑस्कर के फेवर में था।
अच्छा.
और क्या।
और जैक ब्राउन तो बोलता है कि दिस इज नॉरिस इज ईयर.
तो वो
अरे वो तो
वो
नॉरिस
पता है
एरा
रेस
बोल
के
दिया
पहले
था.
ऑस्कर के साथ खड़ा हुआ था।
रुक जाओ, आप
हाँ
और मैं बात नहीं करेंगे, उज्जैन और मीर इस टॉपिक पे बात करेंगे, एक एस्टन
हाँ।
मार्टिन वाला और एक फरारी वाला. लेट देम टॉक. आप तो फैन
एक
हो.
सेकंड, मेरे को बस बिफोर वी स्टार्ट टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट, मेरे को बस ये जानना है कि लाइक व्हाट इज द लाइक parts components taken by Norris? Does this mean कि वो Monza will start from the back? Will he take a penalty?
नहीं नहीं, ही विल नॉट टेक अ पेनल्टी. ही हैज क्वाइट अ फ्यू इंजन लेफ्ट विथ हिम, ही हैज क्वाइट अ फ्यू
Hmm.
पार्ट्स लेफ्ट. Definitely not taking a penalty, but it will be a fresh engine, a new engine, brand new.
I
Okay.
would like to see what position his engine list is by the time we reach somewhere like let's say Las Vegas. तब देखना बनता है.
So let's give it to our audience. List out the number of parts that is consumed by Norris and Oscar Piastri. हमारे audience निकाल के बताइए. Please find it out how many parts are consumed by Norris and how many parts are consumed by Oscar Piastri, and then compare it from where will they start and how much advantage will Norris have on this fresh engine, and will McLaren go with Oscars also as a new engine? That is the main thing to see. Okay, because I think both of them have taken two engines, and if this will be the third engine, I'm not quite sure. This might be the third engine for both of them. Okay, with 9 races to go. Mihir, your point.
हाँ या आई थिंक जैसे उजान भाई ने बोला कि प्रोबेबली ही विल टेक द न्यू इंजन बट नॉट द पेनल्टी। तो वही पॉइंट है मतलब कि इस बार मोन्जा में उसको नया इंजन लेना पड़ेगा विथ हैज अ डोमिनो इफेक्ट कि आगे जाके उसको जल्दी जल्दी नए इंजन लेने पड़ेंगे एंड एट सम पॉइंट इट माइट लीड टू अ ग्रिड पेनल्टी एंड सेम कैन आल्सो हैपन टू ऑस्कर राइट। सो it all depends on luck from here now कि पार्ट्स किसको कैसे कितने लेने पड़ते हैं। ठीक है बट या interesting title fight up till now and I think going forward also it will be great to see how Norris can make a comeback.
Correct, correct. So, in all, what I would like to say is this race was not that exciting, not that, power packed, but it was a good race towards the end specifically, okay, where we saw a lot of action, okay. And quickly we will discuss about the Monza and what to expect in Monza the next weekend itself, where we go to Temple of Speed. Quickly, Ujjan, from your end.
I think Monza में, with it being a very like high speed track, like it is the type of track जहाँ पे if you go play a video game F1 का, you put the downforce बिल्कुल मतलब बिल्कुल extreme पे, कि like you go all out वहाँ पे, like गिन के proper corner गिन के तीन है उसमें, कि which actually challenges a driver. So I think this is something that will, I won't say benefit Red Bull, but is benefiting the driving style of Max somewhat.
Hmm.
But again,
Slow down, slow
how far do we think McLaren are ahead? Are they at such a point right now that they don't even take Red Bull or Red Bull or Ferrari as a challenge?
Hmm.
So, in my opinion, the power of this race, the power ranking of this race, Monza, would be McLaren. Then, after a huge gap, it would be Red Bull. Red Bull being only max, I think. I don't think Sonoda is near the level right now.
Hmm.
Then a small gap where Ferrari and Mercedes, I think, are very close. I
Hmm.
think Ferrari have a slight edge, being their home track as well. I think they would throw the entire kitchen sink at it.
Hmm.
And then I think Aston Martin is over there. They have a resurgence going on. Then Williams, वगैरह, I think after that it's all inconsequential after Williams, if we look at.
Quickly, Mihir, before we move to Avi, your predictions and your point on Monza.
अगेन ऑब्वियसली मोन्जा है होम ग्राउंड होम ट्रैक फॉर फरारी so definitely rooting for Ferrari as always but
Hmm.
if we talk about it logically so Ferrari's car has been very sensitive like the drivers are finding it very difficult to adapt on some tracks। ठीक है थोड़ा सा सेटअप में चेंज होता है या थोड़ा टायर प्रेशर में चेंज हो जाता है तो भी देर इज अ ह्यूज डिफरेंस इन द परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ कार जैसे वी सॉ इन हंगरी राइट लाइक
Hmm.
just after Leclerc pit stop tire there was change in tire pressure was increased and the performance of car dropped by quite a bit right so the only struggle Ferrari finds is पेस काफी ट्रैक्स पे होती है उनकी बट वो काफी सेंसिटिव कार है उनकी द एरोडायनामिक्स आर वेरी सेंसिटिव थोड़ा सा ट्रैक में इवोल्यूशन हो गया टेम्परेचर चेंज हो गया विंड डायरेक्शन चेंज हो गई तो देर इज अ लॉट ऑफ इम्पैक्ट ऑन परफॉर्मेंस राइट सो it will be interesting to see how the car performs in a low downforce, high speed track like Monza, right? But yeah, as always, rooting for Ferrari, but I think McLaren are way ahead. उनकी कार बहुत अच्छी है डेफिनेटली. It is
Mhm.
not as sensitive as Ferrari or even Red Bull, right? Red Bull भी अगर देखा जाए तो it is like not drivable. Max ने भी काफी बार complain किया है, but somehow he is managing to put it in places it does not belong, to put it
Correct.
in right words.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think it will be a clean sweep for McLaren. But yeah, let's see if someone can challenge them.
That reminds me, Aviral, do you remember last year's race where one pit stop of Ferrari screw the happiness of McLaren, two pit stops, right? Do you think something like that, this would be playing in the mind of McLaren going into the Monza next year? That one stop can do the trick for them? Never know. What do you think?
I think that would be an interesting strategy, and Ferrari should definitely look at that. Uh, because one stop versus two stop आपको advantage काफी अच्छा मिल जाता है.
Correct.
So even if McLaren is fast, but Ferrari manages on one stop, then जैसे लास्ट ईयर कर लिया था उन्होंने मैनेज.
Correct.
सो आई गेस इस साल भी उनको ट्राई करना चाहिए. बट मेरा प्रेडिक्शन मोस्टली यही रहेगा, मतलब आई वांट दैट ऑस्कर विंस द रेस, एक्सटेंड्स द लीड, बट फरारी फिनिशेस ऑन द पोडियम. आई वुड से फरारी सेकंड थर्ड भी फिनिश हो जाए, लैंडो फोर्थ आ जाए.
Well, as much as I want Ferrari to finish on the podium in Monza, okay, I want very good racing. Okay, I want
Hmm.
good, interesting racing, good competition, you know, little bit overtakes here and there, and good amount of speed of the cars to be shown incidentally. You know, I want to see somebody like Ricardo winning the race if in McLaren in 2021 or in 2020 how Gasly won, or even if I go back in history in 2008 where a Sebastian Vettel won the race, something like that is very interesting to happen. A lot of ups and downs of the race would be very interesting to happen and see. That is something which I would like to enjoy next weekend. Okay. And thank you, people, for joining in, sharing your views for this race of Dutch GP. Wasn't so pleasant to watch till mid race, but still it was fun, I would say so. Okay. Until
मतलब बिना सेफ्टी
we,
कार के मैं बोल रहा हूँ सब सो जाते
क्या क्या?
हैं. तीन सेफ्टी कार थी, तीन सेफ्टी कार आई थी रेस में, बिना सेफ्टी कार आए सब सो जाते भाई डेफिनेटली. इतनी बोरिंग होने वाले थे.
नहीं नहीं,
बट
बिना
समहाउ
सेफ्टी कार की भी
एक
रेसिंग
के
अच्छी
बाद एक
होती है यार,
सेफ्टी कार.
ऐसे मत बोलो. मैं ये तो बोल रहा था बारिश आनी चाहिए थी, देयर वाज प्रेडिक्शन फॉर रेन, पर वो आया ही नहीं. और
हाँ.
मैं उसके ऊपर इसके लिए बात ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ क्योंकि वो तो वेदर है, अभी उसका तो किसी के ऊपर कंट्रोल नहीं है. ठीक है. बट बारिश आती तो और ज्यादा मजा आता, वी कुड हैव सीन समथिंग मोर. बट ठीक है. तो नेक्स्ट वीक मिलते हैं. People, will see you next week in Monza after the race. And do follow us, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Insta. We are always there. We'll also post our link to join our WhatsApp group where we have this kind of discussion over the race as well. Okay. So until we meet next time, love you all. Take care and thanks for all your love and support to us. Thank you all.